So for you as a leader, are there things, having kind of been observing these very different ways of working, different projects, different orchestras, different music leaders, what have you taken on for you in terms of your leadership style? And have there been any particular challenges actually that you found in that process?
Well, there were challenges along the way, but they were not challenges that cannot be overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had the willingness to go forward and learn something. And there wasn't anyone obstructing me from learning any of this apart from myself. And when I say myself, yes, there were the challenges of, oh, I feel like there's a block here. Or in terms of communication, how do I communicate this to this person? Oh, maybe if I know the exact terminologies or the exact keys to play to this person, we wouldn't spend 10 minutes of me having to explain what I have in my head and all that. But then in the end, none of it matters. We could talk and talk and talk. Okay, play your bit. And what if I play this? How does that sound? Oh, all right. And then there was a moment where we were sharing even different time signatures. And this is one thing that this term I've been mentioning to my students, saying I played the 6/8 timeline on the bell so differently. And for me, I felt like it was clear where my one is. And then David just stopped playing the double bass and said, "Where is one?" that was a comedy sketch because then it made me feel. And then after, in the break, we had a chat, and then we were all talking about it. And in the end, I kind of felt like that was the shared movement there. And David was also very willing to kind of bring his musical ideas to life, ready to suggest something. And so when that all happened and everything fit in place, you feel like, but those are the little challenges and it comes with the communication, and also we're co-working with other people and who are all established in their own way. The other set of challenges would have been the normal ones of having to travel long distances to get to a place. But then when you're coming back, you are filled with memories and lots of happiness that you're coming back. But aside that, I wouldn't say there are really challenges. There were little obstacles that needed to just be overcome. And they also come with the resilience of being an artist and musician, and also having a clear goal and purpose of what needs doing and what needs to be achieved. Yeah,
because it can be quite exposing as a musician, I think, when you're giving of yourself all the time to the people you happen to be working with in the room at the time. And you've spoken about the kind of collaborative musical process with your colleagues and kind of challenges around that, especially if you come from different approaches to music making. You have to kind of work together to find that common language, don't you? But also kind of you are giving of yourself all the time, and it can be an exposing process. Are there things around kind of how you want to approach that type of work for you, and the space that you need in terms of reflective practice that you would like to share?
Well, at this point, I now feel like, oh, I should be able to read music, and I should be able to also venture into these other places where all of these people have already been, so that I can be able to immerse myself into it. But and that is one thing that I'm still looking to do. But on the other hand as well, it is still come back to music and the communities that we all work with. Because with all of those knowledge, with all of those skills, when you meet the community, it has to meet their needs. And it has to be really broken down to the level where they feel confident and comfortable to even add on into it. And yeah.
I think the reading music thing sometimes can be a bit of a red herring, because I learned as a child to read music, but I found anything away from reading music really, really challenging. And as an adult, I've grown to kind of embrace that a lot more than I could as a child. But I don't think, for me, like, the writing music down is just a way of ensuring that people can play what you want them to play, what's in your head as a composer, maybe, you know, that it fits together in the way that you want it to do. But because obviously before we had recording, that was the only way to share it, unless you kept teaching it, and then in an oral tradition it changes and evolves with each teaching, doesn't it? So I don't think it matters for me, the reading music, because most of the time when you're working in communities, you're not always working with a group of people who can read music either. So I think for me, the most important thing is the communication that you've talked about a lot today, and kind of your musical coordinate communication and your personal communication, and that's the key skill of music leadership for me, is that communication facilitation, and the other things kind of support that. But it's getting that right, isn't it? That's it's the difference between a successful project and a not successful project.
Yeah, because you could have all the skills and then the project wouldn't go the way it needs to go. And like you said, if it's all about the music and the facilitation process, and the facilitation is also about juggling it. It's not straightforward. And today you might get the people being in good spirit, tomorrow they are not. How you hold the space and how approachable you make it look for them. And it's always what people will come back to. And most of these settings, like I said earlier, will not always have people like us, music leaders, coming in. So it needs to be a special time. It needs to be an inspiring time for people who want to go down that route or explore that route. And for some people, it's also having someone who listens to them, and a way of even them inputting something that forms part of the bigger thing. Is being listened to, and is being actioned, and it's there. Then everyone is appreciating it.
And that thing when you hear the piece back and someone says, that was my idea, I came up with that. Or, you know, what so-and-so said meant we got that's where we got to. Like, there's real beauty and impact in that collaborative process, definitely.